Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about whole numbers, more specifically how to multiply by one-digit numbers. To get us started, we have 34 times 2. And to make our lives a little easier, we're going to take this problem and we're going to write it vertically. Now that I have my problem written vertically, it makes it a little easier for us to solve it. However, before we get started, let's just take a quick note that multiplication is like addition in the sense that if I change the order of my numbers, I would still get the same answer. For example, the product of 34 times 2 is the same as the product of 2 times 34. So the order does not matter. However, it is easier, just a little bit, to write the number with the greatest digits on top. So for example, 34 has 2 digits and 2 has 1 digit. So it's a little bit easier to set it up like this. And I'll show you guys why. We're going to take the digit on the bottom and we're going to multiply it by every value above it. So we're going to start with 2 times 4 and then 2 times 3. We multiply 2 by the number in the ones place, then tens place. If we had a hundreds place, we'd do that next, and so on. To start us off, we're just going to do 2 times 4, and 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Now, 8 is a number that fits in the ones place. If we had a number that did not, a number that was 10 or larger, then we would have to carry over. However, the 8 could just stay there, it's perfectly fine. And then after that, we have 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So be mindful that when we're doing 2 times 4, both 2 and 4 are in the ones place and our number ends up in the ones place. When we do 2 times 3, that's the same thing as multiplying 2 times 30, which is 60, which is why that 6 is in the tens place value and has a value of 60. So 34 times 2 is equal to 68. Moving on to my next example, I have 145 times 8. Again, to make our lives a little easier, we're going to take this problem and write it vertically again. And we're going to take our bottom value, which is 8, and multiply it by every value above it. So we're going to start off with 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is equal to 40. So we're going to bring down our 0. And because 40 doesn't fit in our ones place value, we're going to carry over the 4. So it's going to go above the other 4. And then that comes into effect when we do 8 times 4. So 8 times 4 is equal to 32, and then don't forget that we have to add that 4 that we carried over. So 32 plus 4 is equal to 36. We write the 6 here, and we carry over the 3. Finally, we do 8 times 1, and 8 times 1 is 8, but don't forget that we have to add the 3, and 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. Because this is the last number that we're multiplying, we could go ahead and write out 11. We don't have to carry over. And because our value is greater than 1,000, we do have to add our comma there. So 145 times 8 is equal to 1,160. Now moving on to our final example. And again, to start us off, we're going to take this problem and we're going to write it vertically. And now we're going to go ahead and take our bottom value, which is 3, and multiply it by every value above it. Starting off with the ones place, then tens, then hundreds, thousands, and so forth. Starting off with the ones place, we have 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and that's a number that does not fit into the ones place, so we are going to have to carry it over. So we bring down the 5, and we carry over the 1. And then we're going to move on with 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is equal to 12, but we need to add that 1 that we carried over, making that a value of 13. So we bring down the 3 and we carry over that 1. Then we have 3 times 2, and 3 times 2 is equal to 6. However, we do have to add that 1 on top, so we end up with 7. And then finally, we have 3 times 2, which is 6. We have nothing carried over, so our final answer there is just 6. And then don't forget to add our comma because our value is greater than 1,000. So 2,245 times 3 is equal to 6,735. And that's it for multiplying by one-digit numbers.